Thank you so much, guys. On 2013, I was diagnosed with hydronephrosis. Hydronephrosis is when one of your kidneys is unable to completely filter out urine because there is apparently a blockage along your ureter. That was what was happening with me. And at that time, I was still in college. That really, at Moy University, that really affected my studies in a big time. I missed most cuts. I missed a lot of exams. Okay, so when someone mentions about kidney problems, I know and understand what it means. Kidney problems can be so traumatizing, and before I knew that I was having problems with the kidneys, it took me 2 years before I could actually know what was going on in my body. 2 years of misdiagnosis. I've been diagnosed time and time. I've misdiagnosed time and time again of having typhoid since I was presenting almost the same symptoms as typhoid. Okay, when you're having a kidney problem, someone who's having a kidney problem is presenting almost the similar symptoms as someone who is having a typhoid. That could be, when you're having, nausea, your, what do you call this, vomiting, headache, stomach aches on the right side of the abdomen. Abdominal, some people say, oh yes, abdominal pains. Abdominal pains, that is the word. Okay, 2 years of misdiagnosis before I could actually be diagnosed as having hydronephrosis. And the stress just didn't end there. How, even after being diagnosed, and I used almost $1,000 for just diagnosis in 2013, between 2013 and 2015. I used, that is between 2013 and 2014. On 2014, towards the end, that was when I knew that I was having a problem with the kidney. There was a problem with the kidney, and I used $1,000 for just diagnosis. But the problem didn't just end there. The problem didn't just end there. Okay, when you're diagnosed of having hydronephrosis, the doctors or the physician, we call this nephrologist wants to identify where hydronephrosis is occurring alongside your ureter. So you have to redo another test. It's called a CT scan. Since ultrasound could not tell, the ultrasound said that ultrasound indicated that yes, I had hydronephrosis, but the best diagnosis that could actually tell the exact place the hydronephrosis was occurring, it is a CT scan. So that is another cost that I had to go. So I went to another, image test of CT scan. After I was done with that CT scan, still the nephrologist was still, and because they wanted to know where this hydronephrosis was occurring, so that I could be referred to the main hospital and surgery starts immediately. They could not start surgery, or they could not start treatment immediately without knowing the cause or where it is located. So I went back to the doctor and I showed him the CT scan. And that time the CT scans costed me $100. No, $150. But they still could not identify the location. So I was again referred to another hospital in Aga Khan. No, before Aga Khan, I went to Kenyatta National Hospital, where I was done I was referred to redo another test. Okay, after redoing that test, Kenyatta National Hospital is the level 5 hospital here in Kenya. Unfortunately, the machines were not working. The equipments that were supposed to carry out the diagnosis process were malfunctioned. They were not working. Okay, and of course I had to go back again to the doctor and tell him now the machines, they have said the machines were not working. So he told me, now you have to go to Aga Khan private hospital, because that's the largest private hospital, one of the most expensive private hospitals we have in Kenya. Okay, so I went there. It's called radiology. I did a radiology that costed me $230 to identify yes, $230 just to identify the exact location where this hydronephrosis were. or was occurring. So in general, I can say I used almost $2,000 just for diagnosis without even coming to the actual treatment. Okay, so I went back, and of course they were able to identify that. Luckily enough, the machine was, and of course there were so many events that I have skipped that happened prior between, Kenyatta National Hospital and Aga Khan. There were so many things. I just want to make this video as short as possible. I don't want to make it so long. Okay, so of course it was identified. It's called UPJ, unilateral pelvic junction obstruction. That is where the hydronephrosis was occurring. UPJ is the junction between ureter and the pelvis. That's where they meet. That's where they meet. They meet. That's where they meet. Okay, so UPJ, unilateral pelvic junction obstruction. That is for one kidney. If it is two, it's bilateral obstruction if it is two kidney. But luckily it was just one kidney that was involved with hydronephrosis. And so I took the test, I took the reports from radiology to the doctor, and he was able to, read the report. And of course, after that, you just don't go to the surgery just immediately. You also, you have to the doctor must give you another appointment. Okay, the doctor must give you another appointment. And you remember I told you that before it took me 2 years. It took me exactly 2 years before I could identify hydronephrosis, before I could know that my problem or what I was going through was hydronephrosis. It took me 2 years. That means the right kidney that was going through the problem of hydronephrosis had deteriorated. The function had really deteriorated to around 13%. Okay, to around 13%. That is according to the report from the lab, not lab, I call it radiology report. It was really down. It was almost the right kidney was almost going down. The problem, the good news is I was lucky enough that it was only one kidney. If it was both, then hey, I don't know, that will be catastrophic. But it was only one kidney. So the doctor didn't want to give me another longer appointment. So he gave me around 3 weeks appointment to come and do surgery. Now, surgery is also another long process. It is not just one-time process. Not just go to the surgery room and they correct and that's it. It's also a process. The surgery itself is a process, and that's why he gave an appointment, including the drugs to take before the surgery. And of course, on the day before the surgery, you do not take anything. For those people who have been in a surgery room, you do not, apart from water, you are not even supposed to eat anything. Because you might be there and they are doing surgery on you, and you might wake up and puke everything. It's not recommended either way to eat before surgery. So it was a problem after problems. Of course, the most important part, before I forget, how we were able to raise this amount of money. Of course, I was not raising this amount. No, I was not raising this amount. At some point, you are able to take a loan, and also some people also contributed something. Contributed something towards my health. All the friends that knew me, that's how we were able to raise this amount of money, okay, for diagnosis. So, like I've said, surgery, the doctor, on the day of the surgery, what they did what we call stenting. Okay, the doctor did what we call stenting. He did not separate. He did not reconstruct UPJ and ureter. He did not dissect or bisect ureter and UPJ. He did what we call stenting. Stenting is a small tube that he inserted inside the ureter that will help in filtering out the urine, that will help out in easing out urine, the urine that had stuck in my kidney. But yes, that was just one of the procedure. Of course, then I had to stay with that stent for only 1 week before coming in for the actual surgery. You see, it's a step-by-step process. That's why I said surgery itself is not a one-time, it's a step-by-step process. So after stenting, I went home. of course, with some prescription of antibiotics. I went back home again and stayed with that stenting for 1 week. After 1 week, the doctor striked. Hi. The doctor striked. All public hospitals, there were no doctors in operation. So I had to stay, and it took for 1 month. It took 1 month for the strike to be resolved, so that the doctors can come back again to work. I stayed with that stand for 1 month. If it was an old one, if it was an old guy, I don't think he could have made it. He will not have made it, because I was fighting multiple infections because of stenting. I was fighting multiple infections. I was going from one antibiotic to another, one antibiotic to another, one antibiotic. I every week I will suffer infections. Every week I will suffer infections. Every week I will suffer infections. It was like that until 1 month, when luckily the doctors went back to work and I was referred to another surgery where they did what we call pyeloplasty. They did a surgery. The surgery itself is called pyeloplasty. That's now the separation, or that's where now they are going to separate the ureter and UPJ and reconstruct the ureter back to the UPJ, so that you can correct this problem of hydronephrosis. Luckily, I had an health insurance cover. I had a health insurance cover together with the money that people had contributed towards my treatments. Okay, the health insurance cover, by the way, it really helps. That really helped, because that procedure was really expensive. It was really expensive. Okay. So hydronephrosis was done, and of course there was a reconstruction, and I was put in a stent. After I was put in a stent again, I had to stay with it for like 1 week before healing. Then I come back again, and the doctor also has to remove that stent through another surgery. So it was around 3 surgeries. It was 3 surgeries. I had gone through 3 surgery process. So that is my struggle that I don't think that I can ever forget. I don't think I will ever forget. Right now I'm okay. Right now I'm doing fine. I'm doing so much. Right now I'm doing okay. I can say that. I'm not, it was not as before. So yeah, that is my story. And about the doctor's reports, some of them are in the hospital and others are in my sister's place, since all the treatments were happening in Nairobi. So I left all the I will come to the day I will go to Nairobi. I'm going to show you all those reports so that you can see it for yourself. It was really tough. It was really tough. Okay, sometimes I feel tired, but not that tired. But that was the issue. That was the issue. It's called hydronephrosis. I think yeah. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys, for watching my videos up to here. And of course, subscribe. Take me to 1,000. I want to go to 1,000. Take me to 1,000. Remember, my journey to Nyabohanse is still on. And like I always say, and I always say in my videos, I want to go to Nyabohanse when I'm monetized. When I'm monetized, that will be when I'm 1,000 and fully monetized. That will be the best thing. Okay. So guys, continue. Thank you so much for the support and all the comments. Thank you.